Have you ever pondered the true nature of God? Is God an entity, separate and distant? Or could God be closer than we think? In the 17th century, a philosopher named Baruch Spinoza dared to ask these exact questions. Born into a world that largely viewed God as a transcendent figure, Spinoza took a different path. He proposed a radical idea. What if God is not separate from the universe, but rather is the universe itself? What if everything we experience is an expression of this infinite divine reality? This was Spinoza's vision, a vision that challenged the traditional religious views of his time and continues to provoke thought today. It's a perspective that invites us to see God not as a distant figure, but as the very essence of existence itself. Join us as we delve into the world of Spinoza and his unorthodox vision of God. Spinoza proposed a radical idea. God is not separate from the universe, but rather is the universe itself. Dive into the depths of this profound thought, and you'll find yourself swimming in a sea of infinite possibilities. Spinoza, a 17th century philosopher, shattered the traditional religious paradigm by suggesting that God and the universe are one and the same. He proposed that God is not an entity that sits high above in the distant heavens, but rather, God is the essence of everything that exists. Imagine the universe as an endless expanse of divine substance. The galaxies, stars, planets, and all forms of life, including us humans, are expressions of this infinite reality. The air we breathe, the ground we walk on, the thoughts we think, and the emotions we feel are all reflections of this divine essence. Spinoza's vision of God as the universe challenges us to see beyond our narrow, individualistic perspectives. It asks us to recognize that the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the rest of the universe are mere illusions. We are not isolated beings, but rather we are interconnected parts of the grand cosmic tapestry. Each of us is a unique manifestation of the divine substance, and in this sense, we are all expressions of God. This idea might seem overwhelming. After all, it's quite a departure from traditional views that place God and the universe in separate realms. But if you think about it, it's a concept that brings us closer to the divine. It suggests that God is not a distant, unknowable entity, but is instead intimately intertwined with our daily lives. In every breath we take, in every leaf that rustles in the wind, in every star that twinkles in the night sky, we experience the divine. We are not just observers of the universe. We are the universe. We are not separate from God. We are God. In Spinoza's vision, there is no division between God and existence. This realization can lead to a profound shift in our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. It invites us to live with a deeper sense of connectedness, reverence, and awe for the divine reality that permeates all existence. Spinoza challenged the perception that we are separate from everything else. This was his radical proposition that toppled centuries-old beliefs and sparked countless philosophical debates. Imagine for a moment a single, infinite substance, vast and boundless. This is the universe, this is God, and this is us. Spinoza proposed that separation is nothing but an illusion, a trick of perception that blinds us from the underlying truth. The sense of being an individual, distinct and detached, is nothing more than a mirage. How can one be separate from the infinite? How can a drop of water be separate from the ocean? The drop of water is not separate, but a part of the ocean. Similarly, we are not separate entities, but rather expressions of the same infinite substance. We're like waves on the surface of an infinite ocean, each appearing distinct and separate, but beneath the surface we're all part of the same vast body of water. The wave is not different from the ocean, nor is the ocean different from the wave. They are one and the same. Each wave is a unique expression of the ocean, just as each of us is a unique expression of the divine. Spinoza urged us to see beyond this illusion of separation, to recognize that the lines we draw between ourselves and the world around us are artificial. The same life force that animates you, animates the trees, the animals, the stars in the distant galaxies. The same divine substance that forms the universe forms you. He argued that seeing through this illusion allows us to understand our profound interconnectedness. We're not merely in the universe, we are the universe. We're not just observers, but participants, entwined in the cosmic dance of existence. As we grapple with this concept, it's important to remember that it's not about negating our individuality, but about understanding our place within the grand scheme of things. We are unique expressions of the divine individual notes in the cosmic symphony. We are not separate from the universe, but rather we are expressions of the same divine substance. Another provocative idea from Spinoza is about free will. This 17th century philosopher dared to argue that our perception of free will is nothing more than an illusion. But why would he say such a thing? Let's delve into the depths of his thought. Spinoza believed that everything in the universe, every event that occurs, every decision we make, is determined by the very nature of existence itself. This proposition may seem hard to reconcile with our everyday experience. After all, don't we make choices every day? Don't we decide what to eat for breakfast, which book to read, or who to spend our lives with? Yes, we do make decisions. Yes, we do have agency. But Spinoza would argue that these decisions, these acts of agency, are not born out of free will as we commonly understand it. Instead, they are the result of countless factors that have shaped us, from the genetic makeup we were born with, to the environments we grew up in, to the experiences that have molded us. We are like a drop of water in a river, believing we are freely choosing our path, yet unaware of the current that carries us along. That current, according to Spinoza, is the infinite nature of existence itself, the divine substance that underlies everything. This doesn't mean that we are puppets on a string, or that our actions are meaningless. Quite the contrary. Recognizing this interconnectedness, this divine current flowing through us, can bring a sense of peace and purpose. It can help us see our place in the grand scheme of things and encourage us to act in ways that are in harmony with the flow of existence. So while the idea that free will is an illusion may initially feel unsettling, it can also be profoundly liberating. It invites us to surrender to the flow of life, to recognize our interconnectedness with all that is, and to see every event, every decision, as part of the divine dance of existence. In Spinoza's view, every event is a manifestation of the divine, predetermined by the nature of existence. Spinoza's philosophy is not just theoretical, it has practical implications for how we live our lives. Let's delve into these applications, the first of which is surrendering to reality. This means accepting the world as it is, rather than how we wish it to be. This acceptance is not a form of resignation, but rather a profound understanding that everything, including us, is an expression of the divine. Life's ups and downs, joys and sorrows are all part of the universe's intricate dance. Next, Spinoza encourages us to see through the illusion of the separate self. We often view ourselves as isolated entities, separate from the world around us. However, Spinoza suggests that this is a mere illusion. In truth, we are all expressions of the same infinite substance. Once we realize this, we start to see ourselves in others and others in ourselves. This understanding fosters empathy, compassion, and a sense of interconnectedness, transforming the way we interact with the world. Lastly, cultivating an intellectual love of God is another practical application of Spinoza's wisdom. This doesn't mean worshipping a deity in the traditional sense. Instead, it's about developing a deep appreciation for the intricate beauty of existence. It's about understanding that every atom, every star, every thought, and every emotion is a manifestation of the divine. This intellectual love of God or nature, as Spinoza would say, leads to a profound sense of awe and reverence for the universe. So what does all of this mean for our daily lives? Well, it means living with greater awareness, compassion, and acceptance. It means seeing the divine in the ordinary, in the sunrise and sunset, in the laughter and tears, in the silence and the noise. It means understanding that we are not separate, but deeply interconnected with all of existence. Spinoza's wisdom invites us to live in harmony with the universe, recognizing the divine in all aspects of existence. And in this recognition, we find a profound sense of peace, purpose, and belonging. Understanding Spinoza's God involves a shift in how we perceive the world. The journey to embrace Spinoza's philosophy invites us to change our perspective, to see beyond the veil of our individual existence and comprehend the profound interconnectedness of all things. This is not a superficial change, but a deep, transformative shift. It's about recognizing that we are not separate entities, but integral parts of a whole, a grand tapestry woven from a single divine thread. This shift in perception is not about discarding our unique identities, but rather about acknowledging our shared essence. Imagine seeing the divine within yourself, within others, and indeed in every particle of existence. How might that change the way we interact with the world, with each other, with ourselves? In the words of Spinoza, all things excellent are as difficult as they are rare. But perhaps this new understanding of God and the universe is a step towards excellence.